Let's now speak to Dale Vince, who is the man behind the campaign. And Dale, just to be clear, you want the compulsory nature of the law that says you must have meat and dairy in your lunch meals. You want to get rid of that. Tell us why.
Yeah, it's that's essentially right. I'm arguing for a freedom for schools to choose rather than some kind of dictation of a vegan diet. So it's been turned into other things by the Daily Mail and others, but that's not what it is. I think that forcing schools to serve meat and dairy is wrong. Schools should be free to choose. Parents and kids should be free to choose. And also, we know that they're unhealthy products, and so it's wrong from a health point of view, public health point of view. Life and science has moved on since this law was made.
Isn't this, though, I mean, I know you are a big donor to the Labour Party. I think you've donated £5 million. And changing this law is going to benefit you financially. Does that not sort of look a little, I don't want to say fishy, but does that not look a little strange?
I'm surprised you say that, and I think I'm surprised that you think that this. I don't see a financial benefit for me. I'm certainly not doing it for that reason. I just think that schools should be free to serve the food that they choose. Animal products are unhealthy. We shouldn't be forcing them on our children. If the parents choose it, if the schools choose it, that's a different thing. But this is not about financial gain for me. Just about everything I do. The arguments are made for green energy, the green economy, all of that kind of stuff. This is for the benefit of the nation. And right now, I think, school kids aren't being given the best option that they could have. I also run something called the Ministry of Eco-Education, which has created a school curricula themed on sustainability. That's in 1 in 4 primary schools right now. That's entirely free. There's no money involved. There's no money motivation in what I'm doing.
Okay, let's go to a caller. Stay with us though, and we'll speak to you some more. Sandra from Shropshire, what do you think about Dale's idea here that we have more vegan meals in schools?
Well, like I said to the person that rang me, I'm a qualified chef and I used to work in a school in Wolverhampton. Now, most of these children were deprived and the only meal that they had that day was a good school meal. Mm-hmm. And I mean by good, we used to have like sausage and mash, not powdered mash. It was proper mash.
Nothing wrong with occasional smash though.
We used to have fresh fruit. Some kids had never seen fruit.
Mm. Well, that's great. Give them more vegan meals. They get more fresh vegetables and more fresh fruit, which we constantly hear in this show is far too expensive for people to buy.
Yeah, but the thing is as well, are the Labour government going to up the budget for the schools because they only have a certain amount to spend on meals?
Okay, so you think we need to focus on the quality rather than what's actually in the meals. But a lot of people watching this, Dale, will criticise vegan diets in general and say that they can be incredibly deficient in certain vitamins and things that children will need for growth and development. And I suppose a lot of vegan food as well can look quite processed in the shops, vegan sausages and the like. What would you say to that argument?
I would say there are a lot of myths around plant-based eating or vegan diet, whatever it is that you choose to call it. And they've been around for a very long time. There is nothing deficient in a diet based on plants. We basically feed plants to animals so that we can eat the animals ourselves. And the animals do not make anything. They don't make protein. They don't make vitamins. They get them from the plants that we feed them. So when we feed ourselves plants, we simply cut out the middleman. There's nothing deficient in a vegan diet. There are ultra high processed vegan foods. Recently, they've become quite common in supermarkets, but I'm not talking about that kind of food for schools, for school kids. I'm talking about just good, honest food that's not meat and dairy. There's an old myth around our society that meat and dairy are good for us, and they're not. We know that they're not.
Okay, you're talking about dals and curries and things. Sandra, thank you very much. Joan from Devon, what's your view on this? Would you be happy to see maybe all school meals be vegan?
No, I don't agree with that. I am a vegetarian, and I've been a vegetarian my entire life. And I don't agree with telling children what they can and can't eat, From the age of 2, they tried to make me eat meat, and I wouldn't. And school meals were dreadful for me. They were a nightmare because they made me go back after school had finished and sit in front of the cold food for up to an hour trying to make me eat meat.
Joan, I mean, that sounds like a punishment. That sounds incredibly unfair. Nobody's talking about that. We're just talking about serving a variety of meals that don't have milk or meat in them. So they're just taking things out.
I don't think there should be a law against serving these different foods. All foods should be served.
Okay. Well, I suppose that is kind of what they're doing. If we took away the compulsory element to it, that would open up the choice. Just quickly before you go, Dale, as a donor to the Labour Party, I'm just wondering how you feel about MPs accepting gifts. I know this is not what we're talking about, but I'm just interested in what your reaction is to that and whether you think that they should continue to be allowed to do that or whether they should be banned.
I think there's been a lot of fuss in the media, a lot of focus on some relatively small gifts and sums of money. I say relative, and I mean relative the last 14 years of Conservative governments. I think basically we have to accept in our country politics is funded by donations, and if we don't like that, we should change that and make it publicly funded. But having said that, some donations are made with the intent to get something back, and some are not. The gift of clothes to Keir Starmer was freely given for the want of nothing. The man that gave them wants nothing in this life, in this world. He just wanted to smarten Keir up for the election campaign. So we've got to distinguish. I mean, people's motivation is important. There's a cynicism around donations, and I say, well, if we think donations can't be done properly, then we should change our political funding.
Thank you very much.